data and what are the sources. At least the mostly used website is the Earth Explorer, which is owned by the US Geological Survey under the US government. This website has some other websites like glovis.usg. It has Earth data. But in this session, we shall use Earth Explorer.usgs. But anyone who is advanced enough, you can also go for Earth data. You'll find the same data that we are going to download. However, the downloads here, they may not be direct. You will download, but it will take you a lot of time processing. Therefore, we came up with a package called Modis Tsp Package. This is embedded in the ARA software. And the advantage of this package, that it does the automation of downloading of Modis Landsat products, and it automates the processing and downloading of Modis Landsat products in a time series. So with this package, you'll find that it will download, project, reprocess, it will mosaic, and it will also resize and mask. And you'll get a final output ready. All this will be done in the background. So as we said, this is the ARA package. The requirement for this, you have to have the ARA software. And this is the link. I don't know whether it was shared on your mails or in class, but if it was not shared, these slides are going to be shared with you. Just click on it, as I'm going to also click on it. Practically, we are going to see it. So some of us may start fearing, as we can see here, we are seeing some ARA packages and they look to be codes. Don't mind. Everything has been worked upon for you. So some of the packages that I summarized here, that will bring you to the Modis Tsp Gui interface, which is on your right. When you get this interface, that means you'll be ready to start the serving of the food, which is downloading the data, as we shall also see. But to build this interface, you have to download ARA setup, open it, it will bring you an ARA console. ARA console, it is a working space that is just ready for you to put the packages for installation. So we shall have the update package. The update package is important, whereby if at all you have an older version of ARA, maybe with even old packages inbuilt, we can put it in the console, press enter, then it will install from one of the repositories. But it will take longer. It can take you 1 hour, depending on the strength of the internet. So this is where I said, I'm going to give you my WhatsApp. Some of these configurations will need you to text me on WhatsApp, then we interact. It may not be enough of coming tomorrow, bringing maybe an error, and it will be solved there and then. Most of these errors, programming errors, some of them come depending on the type of the computer you have. You might have security features, for example, firewalls on your computer, which need to deactivate. You might have an antivirus which may not accept the installation of some of these softwares. You might have, for example, you might have QGIS and you're having an older version. The advantages of QGIS, it comes with some of the packages. And you find that most of these packages that are put here, they're already in QGIS and they're working. You only put install package Modis TSP TSP, and it will start there and then. So there are a number of hindrances that can let us do this maybe behind the class. That's why that's why at the beginning, I told you I share my WhatsApp for you to help you. Besides, you're a big class. I may handle 1, 2, 3, or 10 people a day. Then the next day, other people come in. For those who are interested, you can reach me on WhatsApp to help you to configure this. That is if you fail. I would like to help someone after failing. So there is also another package for backports. Backports helps us to address the security faults. For example, when this interface maybe is successful, you may input a wrong figure within the date or the date format. It has to bring a pop-up, wrong date. Those are the security faults. Then install package language. This one installs a number of languages within the R library that can help us at least build this GUI interface. Such languages may the C languages, HTTP, PHP. These are IT language, but it's okay. You may not know that. So we also have the package RDTK. This helps us to build the interface the way it is, the color, something like that. Then we also have the map edit. As we shall be going through the interface, you'll find that we need to call the administrative boundary of a particular area of interest. When we call it, it has to check the projection system of the map. So that's where the map edit comes in, so that it throws the administrative boundary on a world map. So thereafter, after putting all these packages, then you paste the install packages modis TSP, which will help us to do the automation. Then the library, where you see load modis GUI. After all these packages being successful, then we check in the library. The library is where all packages are stored. Then we check the library modis. Is this modis package installed? If you put library modis TSP and it brings an error, that means package modis TSP has not been successful. But if it doesn't bring an error, then you call the modis TSP, and this GUI interface will open in any browser. A browser may be Firefox, Google Internet Explorer. But this does not mean that you should be connected on the internet. No, it will just connect on the local host of your computer. So how did we process this data? And as we said, this was automated. As we said, this was automated. When this GUI interface opens, we shall be able to define the user extent. The user extent may be the location of where we want to download, maybe the administrative boundary of any country. It will be able to reproject the images to the desired projected system, either geographical or projected. So all this has been explained to you in the former classes, the projection system. So after giving us an output as projected, it will be able to mosaic. It will be able to mosaic. It will be able to mosaic all the tiles that has downloaded. Mosaicing may mean putting together the tiles. For example, if it has downloaded 2 tiles, it will join them together so that you get one tile covering a particular country. However, this data will come in hierarchical data format. Hierarchical data format, this is a data type that stores a big, that has a bigger storage of files. So any big files that is downloaded from these images is, uh, is given to the user in form of hierarchical data format. Some of them call it high definition files, but however, these HDF files are not projected. So here we shall be able to convert these HDF files to GeoTIFF files. GeoTIFF files, these are files that can be read by Envy, QGIS, Eradas. So I don't want the participants to be threatened. I'm only used to ArcMap. How will I use this data? Please don't mind. Yourself, you'll use this data in the format that you use to the GeoTIFF. That's how we shall do the processing. So, however, this data, as we know, the NDVI values uh, have a range between 1 and -1. After downloading and processing all this data, the way we explained earlier, it will come with higher values, which will be between 10,000 and 60,000. -10,000, 60,000. But don't get scared. Modis has a scaling factor, which is 10,000. So the solution to this, the output data, you'll have to only divide it by 1,000. So by 10,000, or multiply it by 0.0001. And you rescale it back to the NDVI known values, 1 and -1. So we shall be using a raster calculator, and also we shall also calculate an annual average. Being that the data downloaded will be covering a particular year, if you would like to have the average statistics of that particular year, then we shall calculate the annual average of that particular year by using still a raster calculator. But remember, after doing all that, some of these tiles, however much it clipped, which we called resize, as you'll see in our Gui interface, we shall be able to resize, maybe we draw a bounding box around the country of interest. Some of the parts on the neighboring countries will be captured. So yes, it is good we have resized, but it is not accurate. So for that case, we shall be using the available administrative boundary of that particular area of interest. Then we shall mask so that we may get the accurate output of that area, ignoring the areas that were accidentally captured when we were resizing. So after our practical session, which we are going for, how the Modis Tsp Gui interface is designed. This will be an assignment, and it will be put in our classrooms. I expect it may not be easy, one especially configuring the Modis TSP, as we said, but some computers may be successful. You'll find that frequent users of the latest version of QGIS, they may bypass most of these packages, and you'll find there are few. So if you're successful, I request that every participant will download his or our own data, or Modis data for a particular country, a particular year. For example, you will download maybe Rwanda for a particular year, 2020. You do all the processing with the help of the GUI interface. Then you do the downscaling, the averaging, Then you give me a final map with its statistics, the legend, and all the components of the map. But please note, this downloading will take time. The output of this download will be something like 50 GB. After rescaling, if at all maybe we ignore the high definition files and they are not saved, the output will be almost 10 GB. And this download per year, I promise you, it will take 7 hours per year. So you have to have passion. It is assignment which I know can't be done today or tomorrow, but at least if at all you have passion, please try. Try, especially to most of us, you'll find we are students, we are consultants. The method can help you when you want to complete other tasks. So please try so that you can get the skill. Let's try to switch to the practical side. Let's first try to go to Earth Explorer. We see how we can download modules, and we see the disadvantages of using Earth Explorer vis-a-vis the modules Tsp Gui Interface. Though it will also link to Earth Explorer, but at least this one is manual. Modules Tsp, it has a bit modified. There is an automation. We shall see. Let's first go to Earth Explorer. I'll click directly to Earth Explorer. Let me go to my browser. So this is my Earth Explorer. Yeah, this is a platform where at least we can download most of the free images. We can get the Landsats, we can get the Sentinel, we can also get the MODIS. So let's try. One, to access this platform and download the dataset from here, you should have registered and log in using your username. As you can see on your right corner, I'm already logged in as username Magaya2. So I advise anyone who would like to use this platform should first log in, sign up. Sign up is free. And the advantages of logging in most of these platforms where you download data, the same username and password is the same which is carried on to other mother sites like Earth Data, Glovis. You'll end up that you don't repeat the sign up. The same password and username will be used at least on all those sister sites. So maybe let's start. We are not going to download, but we are going to try, and I'm going to at least to show you some of the hindrances that we can get when we are downloading here. Then we switch back to our interface very fast. Then we shall compare. So I'll select the address first. When I go to select the geo coding method, I'll go to address. Maybe let me just put Kenya. Kenya. Click on Kenya, it will take me direct to Kenya. Let me select the range of data that I want. Remember, when we are working with MODIS, it has to be between 2000 to date. So I don't expect you to put data from 1990. You will not get any output. So let me put maybe 2014. I'll start with January 1st, 2014, then to December 31st, 2014. If I want 1 year, then I'll click on dataset. When I click on data set, then I'll go to, as you can see, a number of imageries are here. As you can even see the commercial satellites are here, but you will have to pay. Just a moment. Sentinel, you see it is here, Sentinel-2, you can download from here. Landsats, they are all here, depending on what you want. So we shall go to NASA. Then I will go to MODIS Vegetation Index version 6. Version 6 is the latest MODIS that we are using. Let me pick any. Let me check this. Let me check this. Then I go to additional criteria. Let me reduce on the filter. I don't want images of night time. Let me just pick day so that I can reduce on the filtering. Then when I go to results, yes. So when you check here, let's first look at the first image. The first image. This is 24th, 12th, 1919. So I think he has brought all. Maybe, okay, let's go to 2014. Yeah, 2014, no, it is 12th, 2014 on 19th. Then there's one for 3rd. So this one will lead us to download image per image, and wait for it to complete. But the advantage is more this Tsp package. You'll just put the scale of dates which you would like to acquire the images, and the software will download all, collect them together, mosaic them, mask them, reproject them, then give you output. So these are the small indices that I was talking about. Now, besides that, this part, you may not know where it is covering. Let me try to swear it is covering. When you look at that, it's covering Lake Victoria and part of Kenya. But remember, our pointer is in Kenya. So it is very difficult to identify which image belongs to the upper part of Kenya, so that at the end of the day, we join them together. So you'll take a lot of time. At least this method, we used to do it earlier when this tool had never come. But since there is another method, let's appreciate the changes in technology, and we see the difference compared to the Earth Explorer methods of downloading. So then let's go back and activate our MODIS TSP. We have seen how to download data from there. We want to compare with our MODIS TSP. So you'll find that my MODIS TSP has already been configured. As I told you, it takes time. I had to configure it. Besides, I've been using it. So I had to configure it earlier so that we could go on we could go on with the class. Let me share. Just a moment, I'm still on. Just a moment. So I've just shared the screen of different codes that we have in our PowerPoint. I'm going to share this with you in the class. So the beauty with this, you'll just copy the way I've done. So it doesn't need you to cram all these ones. I'll just copy, I'll not copy the number. The number is just telling us the number of packages. So I'll copy that library modules TSP to check if the modules package has been installed. If it is successful, then I'll also copy modules TSP and the GUI interface will open. So I'm still fighting with the technology to share the ARA interface, but anytime, please just hold on. Okay. So when we open our ARA, it will bring us the console, as you can see. That's how it looks like. You may not mind about what is in the menu bar, but like any other software, these words are English words. Source ARA code. If at all you have a code already, you just import it. But I know this copy, paste, packages, load packages. If at all you have the packages, you see update packages. One of the first package that we have is that you can either click there or put it there manually. So let's continue. I'll just copy that library modules TSP, press enter. It is checking. The moment you don't see any error, that means the package is already installed. Then you type or copy the package modules TSP. The only problem with this program is case sensitive. If you type small letters, it will give you an error. So when I click enter, the GUI interface will be displayed. I would just like to know if you can see the GUI interface. Can you see the GUI interface? It has a green bar. Hope I'm not alone.
Not yet.
When it comes to, okay, it is there. When it comes to coding, that's when you hear people are keeping quiet, but this is a friendly language. So that is the output after putting modules TSP. So that is the GUI interface. When you look at the menu, let's focus on the left, we shall see the products. The products, we shall see the different indices that can be derived out from the modules data sets. So let's start with the modules, the data and layers. We shall handle one by one. As we handle, we explain. So when we click on the product and layers, when you come to product category, we shall go for vegetation indices, because at the end of the day, we are focusing to get the vegetation indices. And you know, vegetation indices, we have the MV, NDVI, MV, NDVI, and survey. So let's go to vegetation indices. When you click vegetation indices, still, this GUI interface will ask you, and it will give you the categories of the vegetation indices it has. It has vegetation indices of a 16-day composite, 500 meters. Remember, we are focusing at least here at a lower resolution. However, it is high, but we are focusing at the lowest. And we shall go direct to here, 250 meter resolution. So what you see as AMD1321 is just a code. What you see as a star, either it has to be represented by Y or O. When you get a product with MOD, that is a terra. That is a terra. A terra product. Terra product means that it is land. The output is for land analysis. If you get MY, it will be water. So, however, you may not know all that. Just select the lower resolution. But if at all you can differentiate between the platforms, then you can go for the platform and check. You want to download land, data for land, you want to download data for water analysis, or you want both. But remember, I told you, these images are heavy. The moment you say both, maybe it is a big consultancy, World Bank. But anyway, it can even be for research. It depends on why you need it. So we shall click Terra. Then, since we want vegetation indices, sorry, it is not 500, it is 250 here. I've done a mistake. Since we want vegetation indices, so it will give us the available layers that we can get from vegetation indices of 250-meter resolution under Terra. Our target is survey. So if you wanted NDVI, you can just check here. If you wanted NV, you can check here. If you wanted any quality indicators to be downloaded alongside what you want, you can check any of this. But our interest is survey. So I'll uncheck this, I'll go for survey. Remember the formula that we had in the PowerPoints? So that is it. I remember I had a hint on flood, disaster, something. So you can get also the flood index. So here our interest is survey. We go back to spatial. We have completed with the products and layers. Let's go to spatial and temporal. So temporal will request us to put the particular years of interest. Let me put 2020. No, it is already there. I want to change. Let me put 2019. 2019, January 1st, and even be helped with the calendar to December 2019 to December 31st. So that means I would like products that are spanning within a full year. The projection user identified, because at least everyone knows the projection of his own country. When we click change, for example, if it is Uganda, it is 36 north. We're in 36 north data. If it is Rwanda, you'll put 35S. That is the data. Kenya, depending on the area, but most of it is under 37, but depending. So when you move down here, we shall be asked, do you want to download tiles? These are the tiles. What you see here, which is selected, is the tile. Do you want to use a bounding box? Bounding box, you'll just draw your area of interest. But sometimes you may not be a good user or interpreter of these maps. So if you want a bounding box, that means you have to move to your area of interest. You look for Uganda, you see the time I'm taking. But if you have time, it is okay. Now someone asks, do you want us from a spatial file? Spatial file, that means you have an administrative boundary of interest. You want to load it directly. When I click this, the browser will be active. Then I just call it. It is on the desktop. It's on the desktop. I suspect desktop. Desktop. Under training. Then under training, there's Districts 2019 for Uganda. When I click the administrative boundary, the shape file has to have an extension of SHP. When I select, it will take me direct the location of Uganda on the world map, as you see, and it will draw the bounding box automatically, as you can see. So when I scroll down, this part is done. Then I go back to output formats. So the output formats and folder, one, it will entail us to have a username. We have to show the interface, which site do we want to download data from. This Gui interface was configured that all the data from Modis is coming from the sister sites. We said Earth Explorer, Glovis, and Earth Data. So these sites usually they have the same username and password. So when download method, when I select HTTP, that means I want this GUI interface to connect to internet. That means you have to have internet to download this. If I select offline, that means I have the high hierarchical files on my computer. I want to process them from my computer. I already downloaded them earlier. But since I don't have them, I'll say HTTP. Then I put my username, Magaya2. As you saw in Earth Explorer, my username was Magaya2. I know my password. I don't know why it has been displayed. Usually it is not, but it's okay. So that is my password. If you put a wrong password, it will not download, it will give an error. So still the program will ask you output option. What is the output format you want? You might want to use this data in ENVI and you think the ENVI format is well read in the ENVI software. But at least the GeoTIFF is a universal format that can be read with all the softwares. Ignore the compression. You can ignore the time series. These are the error stack. These are small summary of files that have data, and you can use the web mapping maybe to display the output of what you've downloaded. Ignore the offset, ignore the modify value, but for this part, change only the output format. Let's go to the output folder. So the program also asks, where do you want to save all this work? So here the expectation is, after reprocessing, projection, masking, at least a folder should be there where to save. The second one here means Modis HTTP file. These are usually I call them the raw files, because these files, after being downloaded, are the ones that are processed to the values that we may desire to see.
No, we can't hear you. We can't.
You can hear me now? Internet was off. I'm sorry about that.
I can't hear you.
Let me reshare the screen. So this is where we were. Remember, these files are too big. A folder of only this file, HDF files, you'll find it is around 50 GB, only this. And an output of these files, which are already processed, will be around 10 GB. That means you'll have almost around 60 GB. So let's first create the folder where the processed data will go. You will browse. I'll put on my desktop. I'll go under training. I select. Desktop training. Desktop training. Then I'll put under maybe Uganda survey 2019. I put under TIFF. TIFF. Then select OK. So you see the address where the files where they'll be saved. These are the processed files. That's where they'll be saved. Then the raw files. Let me locate where they'll also be saved. They'll be saved under desktop, training, survey, 2019, because I'm expecting to download 2019. Then I'll go to main HDF, then click OK. So this is the stream. But if you feel you don't have space, you may decide as the computer downloads the HDF files, it processes them, then it deletes them to avoid space wastage. So if I say delete HDF files and say yes or no, if I say no, that means it will download, store them on my computer and process, but they remain. But if I say yes, after processing, it deletes, then at least I'll have to save space. If all that is done, you go to run modis TSP. The moment I click run modis TSP, they will start downloading in those particular folder. Now, at least I have some of these files, the HDBF and the processed files. Let's assume it has downloaded and it has processed. Let me try to share with you the files. So this is the folder I've shared where the GUI interface has saved my work. Under Uganda Survey 2019, it will create a folder. I created a folder main HDBF. These files were processed, as you can see. There will be almost 97. There will be 93 files, but they are 34.8 GB. So depending on the size of the country, it will also, the size taken on your computer will also change. So after processing them in the background, I got the TIFF files. From 93, it changed them to 23 files. So these are also 34.8 GB. So approximately I have 80 GB taken, just that. So when you look at these images, you find that this is a 16-bit composite, the output.
Recording in progress.
Shall go to layer and layers. We should browse to where they are saved. Then the desktop, I'll click here. Then go to the desktop. They're under training, they're under Uganda survey, under 2000. My target is the T folder because they already processed. So I'll select them all. I won't call one by one. I'll